I mean, I feel like people at Howard are like part of the upper class black like society, and like a lot of people like they're from Jack and Jill. I didn't know Jack and Jill was until I went to Howard, and like everybody just real like not everybody, but the majority of people at Howard come from good backgrounds. Like
That's what
they
I'm
live in
saying.
suburbs. They usually a lot of people who like grew up in white areas
I'm
and
about to
went to go to a
start
black school
sliding.
to be black. So it's like they don't really have the same understanding of like different classes of black people, and they look down on people who aren't like at their level of socioeconomic class, which is like very fucked up, but I feel like it's true.
So that's like some Uncle Tom shit. No bullshit.
I mean, there's gonna be some of them everywhere you go.
I came across this quote on my Instagram timeline and I thought it was a really good discussion piece. I went to an HBCU, but I just want to hone in on the fact that black people at any college are usually upper class black, as the girl referred to them in her interview. And that's on Mary Had a Little Lamb, okay? Especially, I feel like, I mean, I've never been to a PWI, but I feel like even more so if they go to a PWI or one of these elite schools, Ivy League schools, they're probably definitely even more upper class. And to go to, the reason why I think this and why I agree with the woman in the interview is because to go to college or to have the hope or dream or the expectation or the desire of going to college, you have to have come from some type of money or an educated family, usually. Not all, but in most cases, absolutely. Because it's a little different now because college is definitely, at least for bachelors, becoming like high school. But even still, it's kind of like if your parents didn't go to college or don't have money, they at no point had a savings account prepared for you to be going to some college. And you don't even have that expectation on you from your parents or family because it's like, well, how you going to do that? And you don't even develop the desire most of the time because it was never spoke to you about. It was never in your plan, you know. Your mother or father or both are too worried about how they keeping food on the table. And they know they can't afford to send you to college. And obviously there's scholarships through athleticism and merit-based scholarships and things like that. But, I mean, they usually don't know where to find these, don't have access to it. I mean, there's a lot of barriers here. And I personally was not the upper class black, and I'm still not. I've never had anything to fall back on. So, it's definitely not all black people in college, but it's definitely most. And I remember being in spaces of black people where it was like, wow, like college spaces, or I got into this space via college, and I'm like, wow, these are the most bourgeoisie black people ever. And yes, I feel like Howard people have an even more specific reputation of how they behave. Like you could just kind of tell a Howard attendee or alum. But a subsection to the upper class black is the quote-unquote foreign blacks. They are definitely coming from some type of money or education, more so than the upper class black American students, because unquestionably 99.99% of them, if not 100% of them in college, are coming from money or education. Now the black Americans in college are usually middle class. And why is this? Lower class black people don't even develop that hope half the time. They've never seen it before. Who's co-signing the loans? Who's paying for your accommodations, food, shelter, Who's going to get you there to visit it in the first place? Like, we don't have time to take off of work and send you on these college tours. And even if you just picked one, you virtually picked it. Who's dropping you off when it's time to go? And if you have been working through high school, you can't afford to stop working. I mean, there's just a lot of barriers. And it's possible, definitely. I did it. But much harder, as everything is much harder with all poor people. Additionally, a little advice I want to give is that you really have to learn a bit differently, because if you're middle class, your parents probably told you how to work the system, climb the ladders, behave and manipulate certain spaces to have your optimal outcome. But poor Black people don't have that, so they don't have and they don't know any better than the way that they've always behaved. Like the whole changing depending on who you are around. So like code switching based off of the space that you're in. There may have been no code switching in your life, because if you in the hood, from the hood, most likely it's just been the hood, the trenches. That's all you know. And that's the only way you know how to behave. So yes, poor Black people can learn it. But they have to know that even to learn it, like, they have to know that that's something that they need to learn. How would they even know that, oh, I need to learn how to code switch? How would they know that? Until maybe they've embarrassed themselves and somebody said something. But people gravitate to who they're most similar with. So if all the Black people who are upper class stick together and all the poor Black people in college, like, it's freshman year, you're going to college, you want to make friends. So the people who have the most similarities to you are the people you're going to gravitate towards. But if they all get together and none of them know how to code switch, none of them even know what the term is, none of them know how to manipulate spaces to be the best outcome for them, none of them even have those topics at mind, how are they going to get any better? How are they going to grow? They're all just going to stay not knowing. So my advice to any low-class Black person going to college is hang out with people already in the positions you want to be in. And honestly, that can be with anything in life. And just be intentional about it. Be intentional about what you are interacting with them about to display what you want. I have that very clear. Not say, oh, hey, I'm hanging out with you because I want to learn how you do this. I mean, you could, but that's not what I mean here. So, for instance, try to pick people who are not the same sex as you, so there's no question. Who are the same sex as you. So there's no question if there's a romantic interest. Like, if you're a boy and you see a girl with a good quality you don't want her to start thinking, oh, maybe he likes me. Oh, maybe he's hitting on me. And she'll be nice, but she won't. Maybe she's not attracted to you, or maybe she is. But she'll be nice and be like, she's not really going to do it because she's not attracted to you. Or, yeah, she'll do it because she likes you, but now her whole thing is a romantic thing. Like, you just want to move intentionally. Move with somebody the same sex as you. Obviously, this gets convoluted with the whole idea of same-sex relationships, but I'm just speaking generically. Whatever your case is, I manipulate what I'm saying into your case. But yeah, ask to have a study session or to go to lunch together so it's clear what type of energy you're on. Don't initiate it with, hey, you want to go to this party with me? Like, no, maybe they would want to go to the party with you. Maybe they do want to be your friend, but you want to be intentional about what you want from this person. If you see a person who seems really driven, or someone who's really smart, they're always getting 100 in the class, say, hey, can we have a study session together or go to lunch together? So it's clear the type of person you are. And if it's an older person, You could say, hey, I'm going to this career fair. I've never been to one. Can we go to lunch the day before so I can ask you some questions I have? And this can, anybody who I'm referring to, whoever this person could be, it could be somebody in the student body or it could be somebody working in academia. I recommend having people from both, and I recommend having as many people as possible because people have different strengths, right? So you want to get one strength from one person, another strength from another person, another strength from another person, and you're hanging out with all these people, and you develop all these strengths learning from all of them. You want to have a versatile mix and group of friends, a group of people who you're around. And as a Black lower class student, lower class student, you are lower class actually, because so as a low class student, honestly, I'm gonna say an HBCU is the best option in my opinion, because nobody gonna love you like Black people love you. Nobody gonna hate you like Black people either, but they gonna keep it real with you. Black people always keep it real. They're going to let you know you're gaining too much weight. They're going to let you know that outfit is a little too tight. They're going to let you know, okay? So they understand you the most. The richest Black person attending or working at an HBCU understands you more than the poorest white person attending or working at a PWI, predominantly white institution. So another piece of advice is remember, life is a competition. College is definitely a competition. To set yourself up for success, you need to be the one who shines in every room. Lower class Black students, the other students already have an advantage in these spaces. Get on their level. And my best advice for doing this is reading. Read. There are some classics that their parents probably had them read multiple times and they didn't get it in the moment, or maybe they did. But some of them are How to Win Friends and Influence People, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Black Skin, White Mask, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Like, those are some classics that you need to get in your under you. Like, get in your roster. Have those type of thoughts in your brain. Self-teaching. Self-teaching yourself? Whatever. Teach yourself. Because you can't really trust people. Like I said, it's a competition. So teach yourself a little bit. Get what you can get from other people. Have fun, of course. I mean, it's a pandemic, so I don't even know how college is going, but you get what I'm saying. People are still associating on Zoom. People are still having career fairs on Zoom. I mean, it all still applies. These books will always apply. So yeah, and always be vocal when you're in a direct competition environment. Like if you're at a conference or a fair, you're in direct competition. So you want to be vocal in these spaces. Don't be too shy. Don't think you don't know the answers. Confidence is key. You can confidently be wrong as hell. You still stand out positively for having courage and readiness to learn. And if you do speak up and you're totally wrong, say something to whomever was in charge of that room at the end. Like, oh, that was a really great learning lesson for me. And don't be overconfident. Always be humble. Be the person people want to be with. Be the person people want to work with. But yeah, let the person know who was operating that room. You know, that was a great learning experience for me. I'm happy I got to learn it. Thank you for teaching. The reason why I thought my answer was correct is this. Like, show them, the way you think. And say, but now I understand why the answer is this, because show that you've learned and show that you're curious and you have readiness to learn and you have courage to speak up and you're a humble person and you're not afraid to be wrong. You just are showing so many great qualities about yourself. So yeah, I can definitely focus in on different topics in other podcasts about advice for low caste students, as I'm now calling it. But overall, everyone just be yourself, believe in yourself, the topic is college in this podcast, but everybody doesn't have to go to college. I strongly believe that. I do believe everybody needs to be educated, but I do think there's ways to educate yourself that don't involve a 4-year degree. So, don't feel bad if that's not the route that you go, or if that's not the route you can afford. Or I know people had to drop out because they had to go back home and help their family. I mean, and you can always go back later if that's like something that's your goal, you know, or something your parents wanted to see out of you. You can always go back later. I mean, my valedictorian was like 65, so. Yes, that's all I'm going to say for now. But if you guys like this topic, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this topic or weren't in agreement with me, give me a thumbs down. Leave a comment on your opinion on this topic. And thank you for listening. How did you like my third podcast? Hopefully I make another one. Have a good day.